Warning, the following program contains extreme coarse language and mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is extremely advised. Good evening. It is Thursday, February 2nd, 2023. I'm ADC. This is Talking Truth. So we are live. Welcome to all new subscribers, all new viewers. We're going to be covering a number of topics. Normally, the normal topic is AB Poli. We'll do a little bit of ACAB, as well as Twitter fails. And that's the big one today is the Twitter fails is our number of friends actually that are being targeted by a racist, I would say unstable individual on Twitter. And so let's jump right in on the AB Poli. So AB Poli, all these different piles. Let's say it's good things. I can't say it's good things. It's a cesspool. Just like Twitter, it is a cesspool. And it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. We've got record-breaking fundraising from all parties of the duopoly in Alberta politics, which is the UCP and the opposition NDP. Third-party candidates are being named slowly but surely, and a lot of controversy coming out of the Premier's office. But if you're like us, you don't see a lot of that stuff because you're blocked by the Premier. So being blocked by the Premier and then having the Minister of Advanced Education talking about freedom of speech, that really doesn't make sense. But a lot of the stuff that's happening right now in province of Alberta, country of Canada, United States, around the world, nothing makes sense right now. So we're going to try and, like we said, we talk truth. We're going to try and push through some of this stuff. And we said we're going to start with the AB Poli. And we are starting with the AB Poli. And the big thing is as co-founders of the AB Poli on Twitter, and Twitter being a cesspool, we're getting ready to launch some new exciting things. And one of those things is coming soon. It is all things AB Poli. We are going to be on Substack. So join us on Substack, as well as join us as we move away from the cesspool of Twitter. We want to move forward in more of a collaborative aspect, not just the like people are saying they don't want the negativity. And you know what? I'm tired of the negativity. We did negativity for whatever it is. So we're going to utilize our platforms and utilize our stuff for good. And so that is the move to Mastodon. So there's a number of good group of people on Mastodon, and we're launching the AB Poli on Mastodon. So at AB Poli on Mastodon, and substack.com/AB Poli. And we'll have the links are in the description of on all the different platforms that we're broadcasting right now. And we'll have more information there. But the whole concept is for information, education, and collaboration. And what do we mean by that? We mean the fact that we don't want to be just saying, oh, you know what, these guys are bad, these guys are good. You know what, we just want to get the message out there, and a lot of messages are, we're being streamlined a certain message and a certain narrative. Basically, the so-called political experts in this province are talking about a two-horse race for the government already. There's no looking at any of the, according to polls, according to this, according to that. And we know we haven't an election yet. So which means that if the election is called and all signs are pointing to either one of the two parties to gain a majority, I believe that by doing that is a disservice to the citizens of Alberta, and we need to further educate our fellow citizens. So that's the information and education piece. But this information and education piece is coming very similar to the Talking Truth. So Talking Truth will be part of the AB Poli Substack. We'll be sharing episodes like this into the Substack for subscribers, as well as free viewers for at least 2 weeks. So like I said, click on the links, subscribe there. We're going to have more information there coming down. But we're also the collaboration piece. So there's a lot of great independent media, a lot of great mainstream journalists that work in the mainstream media, but haven't been poisoned by the corporate mandate and still will question authority and question why things are happening. So those journalists will be sharing their work, sharing independent work, and we're going to try and, like we said, provide a bigger platform and try to promote more of the stories of what's really going on in this province, because I don't think you understand what's really going on in the province. I didn't understand what was going on in the province until we had the shutdown and everything based on COVID. Then I started to understand, because then we started to see a lot of stuff go down under the guise of safety, especially in this province, especially by the UCP government. And if you go onto the TikTok, you'll see some of my past videos that covered this. And one of those videos that covered this is one of the big things that popped up yesterday. And that's where we're saying about the collaboration piece. So our friend from Progress Alberta covered Progress Alberta, aka the Progress Report, and was covering a press conference that took place in the city of Edmonton yesterday. So we're just going to share our screen here and cover this aspect of, from now until the election starts. Here we go. Hold on. There we go. From now until the election starts, and this is from the Progress Report, aka at Progress Alberta. Follow them on Twitter. From now until the election starts, UCP government will be deploying sheriffs on the streets of downtown Edmonton. Our editor, Duncan Kinney, is at the press conference for this announcement. So there's the news release that they received in the 15-week pilot partnership between the Alberta Sheriffs and the EPS will begin late February to help deter and respond to crime and social disorder. Other 2 pages of the press conference here. So here is the aspect of the video of, let me just...
Okay, so we've been told that nobody's going to be taking your questions today, and that if you create a scene or if you create any kind of thing, you're going to be asked to leave and probably escorted out. Okay? You understand? Yeah? Okay. Thanks.
So, as you can see, the editor, Duncan Kinney, was told that they won't be taking questions, and if they create a scene, he'll be escorted out. Minister Mike Ellis begins the festivities. Pilot project due to complaints made to Ellis's office. He brings up the closure of the downtown Sport Check location, and a police officer stood directly next to Kinney as the presser started and touched his gun to his side and elbow. So what we're getting, and like everything else with the UCP, it's all bits and pieces, and no real truth has come out yet. So we're going to provide more information when it comes through. We're hearing anything from increased security to preventing harm reduction organizations and staff from being in the area or being able to assist those battling addiction and poverty. And basically, we have untrained officers of the EPS that are going to be there with sheriff officers of this province. And we're talking about untrained in regards to mental health. And if you're looking at all the evidence, there's been like years, decades, you name it, that the evidence, scientific evidence, the background, all these surveys, all these panels and stuff that the UCP love to do, the true panels and these surveys and the actual experiences, the majority of your people that are in the dire needs of houselessness and poverty and addicted to battling addiction. It doesn't matter what the addiction is. Addicted to, they all push the drug addiction or the alcohol addiction. A lot of this stems, and I'm saying like we're looking at 99% of this stems from mental health and the lack of mental health supports in the healthcare system that are continued with the current Alberta government. And they continue to just pull more and more support and pull more and more funding away, forcing more and more people to have to self-medicate, be it substance, be it alcohol, be it gambling, whatever the case may be, to forget that they live in such a cesspool of a society that doesn't care about them, that would rather see them die in the streets than help them through proven methods of support. We've got people that are affiliated, they're deep in the conservative platform that are now in charge of harm reduction, but their harm reduction is all about taking away. It's not about doing anything safely. It's about forcing you to dry out. We're looking at medical cases. We're not even going to get into the opioids and anything like that. We can get into that, but we're looking at those sort of aspects. So if you have a person, a citizen who is battling addiction, who is trying to survive, and you force them to go cold turkey, you're basically killing them because they'll get deathly sick. Because the whole thing is the body requires some sort of, when you have the addiction, your body required, like, to go full on dry and detox, your body revolts because your body has gotten so accustomed to being on such substance, be it alcohol, be it medication, whatever the case may be. So pulling you into a full detox is going to do more harm to your body and will sure as hell do more harm to your mental health, because not only are you facing the fact that you are battling addiction, but then now you are in the process of being looked down upon, looked lesser than because of the circumstances that you're in. So when we have a government that really doesn't care about citizens, and they can tell me all they want about this, they're proving time and time again they do not care about the citizens of this province. And currently, any of the major politicians are all playing party politics. So yes, the opposition leader and their party are telling great stories about what they're going to do, what they're going to do for you if they get in. What they're going to do is they're going to continue the capitalist system that we're in that cannot be sustained. So people of privilege, people with power will exploit people. They'll exploit systems to ensure they can continue with that power. So again, like we've said in multiple episodes, we're going to say it again. The only hope for this province is proportional representation. Now, the caveat with that is there's a candidate that's now running for the NDP that was all about proportional representation, and we would welcome them on here to talk about proportional representation and how the NDP and the Rachel Notley NDP would provide that to the citizens of Alberta, if that's why they're running under the NDP banner. So they're welcome to come on, and we will have the conversation. Anyone who wants to come on and talk about, if you are a political pundit in this province and you want to talk about why you believe that the current system is all we have and that's what we've got and that's why we have all these polls and these polls are going to be correct and whatever, come on. Let's do some talking truth. Because the truth is, one of the biggest reasons why we're in the state we're in is because it's enabled. Because it's comfortable. None of the people of privilege and power want to be uncomfortable. We learned that during COVID. We talk about freedoms and rights. We talk about we don't want to be forced to vaccine. We talk about we don't want to be forced to wear masks. Okay, I understand about the vaccine. I do understand it. I'm vaxxed with a booster. I got COVID. I didn't get as sick with COVID because of the vaccine. So thankfully for that. But I got sick and I've been masked and I've been social distancing for almost 3 years. But I still got COVID. And it is not just the flu. If you go back to last week's episode or the episode before, I am still struggling. And I know a lot of people are struggling. So the unfortunate part, though, is there's a lot of people struggling that are of privilege, that are, and we're talking about struggling with COVID, that have had COVID, that are battling long COVID symptoms. You have the privilege. You have the platform. Continue to talk about this. Continue to talk about the COVID is not over. Continue to explain the symptoms that you have and what you're suffering from. Because the only way we're going to get through to people's heads is the fact that it's not just the elderly, it's not just the weak or the comorbidities. Guess what? As soon as you have COVID, you now have comorbidities. So your bullshit excuse about, oh, it's people that are overweight and obese and they're not healthy, that's why they got COVID. Well, we've got these healthy people like Connor McDavid who's had COVID twice. So Connor McDavid, the world's greatest hockey player, has comorbidities. If another pandemic hits that is something that is not COVID related, when he catches that, or if he catches that, he will catch it with the underlying comorbidities. So don't just tell me because people are not eating healthy, you have to eat healthier, you got to do this, you got to do that. You know what? If you're wealthy and you're privileged, it's easy to do. When you're struggling in poverty, or you're living from paycheck to paycheck, and you don't know where your rent's coming from, or you don't know where your power is coming from because this government has lifted all regulations and all safety measures on the cost of living. Oh, but don't worry, you got your $100 a month for the next 6 months until the election. Those Danny dollars, yeah, that $100 is gonna do a great thing. Remember, it's trying to buy a vote. They've bought enough of this province. There are movers and shakers and people of privilege that will vote the UCP in because they don't make it uncomfortable. They will continue the status quo of compensated through the capitalist, colonialized, racist, homophobic system because it's comfortable for them. None of these people of privilege want to be uncomfortable. So they will risk the lives of those who are struggling in poverty, struggling with houselessness, struggling with addiction, letting you die in the streets by freezing to death or by overdosing because they don't want to be uncomfortable. They are fucking selfish. I want you all to understand your leader of the opposition, your current premier, is fucking selfish and don't care about you. So the only way you can create change in this political cesspool is voting third party or independent, because we need representation that is local, that will represent the every Albertan, not just the elite or the privileged or the nepotism. So I could go on AB Poli. You can see up there on across the screen. Follow us on Mastodon. We'll have the link to the Substack. We're also launching abpoli.ca and abpoli.info. Both those websites will be up by the end of the month, and we'll have information. And like we said, it's collaboration. So if you are one of the pundits that wants to get your message out there, feel free to email, connect with us on Mastodon, connect with us on Twitter until it goes into the toilet, connect to us, connect to our Substack, and we can share your messages, we can have you on, we can do panels, we can do whatever the case may be, but we need to tell the truth to Albertans. This whole playing political politics doesn't work. It just kills people. And how they play political politics is we're looking at the current government when it was the former leader who's now part of a law firm. He's now an advisor. He's an advisor under investigation by the RCMP for a kamikaze and fraud, election fraud, leadership fraud. How can we continue to allow this to happen? So if the leader of the opposition is just going to sit here and spew venom at the premier or the acting premier, whatever the case may be, and the acting government, we need a different voice. Not saying the different voice is going to win the election, because we know it's such an uphill battle, it can't happen. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying third party is going to become the premier of the province, but the third party can bring in transparency And a third-party candidate or a third-party representation can bring in accountability. Because right now, neither of the parties have accountability. So we're talking about the all cops are beautiful, the ACAB. You know what ACAB stands for. It's all beautiful. All cats are beautiful. All curries are beautiful, as are my beautiful rescue dog curry. The other people are not beautiful. You see the horror stories in the United States. You see the shootings. You see the unarmed people being murdered by the police in the United States. By allowing what Chief McPhee, who's directly connected to the UCP, by the way, you can go to Progress Alberta and look at the link. You can go on to our Twitter. We actually linked this story that McPhee, and we broke the story back when, because we live in central Alberta, we broke the story that McPhee was at the first UCP dinosaur race, horse race bullshit at the Track On 2, just outside Lacombe. McPhee was one of the guests of the UCP for a fundraiser during a pandemic. Calgary police are doing the same thing. But like I said, what they've done here in the province, what they're doing in Edmonton, this 15-week trial, this is the provincial police force that they want. This is what they want. They want their own enforcement. And if you were not aware, and we talked about it in previous videos, I'd go onto the site, but it's probably hidden now. But you can go onto the government website and look it up. But go onto the TikTok and look at the videos there. When we talk about, go into our on our YouTube channel and look at past videos when we're talking about the aspect of the provincial police force. So what the UCP government did under the guise of the COVID Emergency Act is they changed the Police Act. Good old MLA Madhu, when he was the Justice Minister, changed the Police Act to revise it to say that the Justice Minister, or those that are put in place by the Justice Minister, can move any police officer to any location in the province of Alberta that they deem requires additional safety measures. This isn't about safety. This is about law and order and authority. Dollars to donuts. That what happened to the Indigenous individual who was shot dead by police officers in Edmonton a few years back, when they had a weapon which was a piece of made up, like what kids would play with if they were playing war. It was like a piece of pipe. It wasn't a gun. They could see it. They saw it. They shot him in the back. Killed him. Thanks for coming out. They will kill more people under the guise of law and order and safety. And if we continue to allow this current government to run unopposed, unlawfully changing laws left, right, and center and getting that royal assent from the lieutenant governor, you got chaos. You've got The Handmaid's Tale. You've got The Hunger Games. They're not just books and movies. It's real life if you continue to be complicit to what's happening. You can't continue to be an ostrich. Just because something isn't affecting you now doesn't mean it won't affect you soon. Because when we're talking rights and freedoms, we're talking about the rights and freedoms of the elite. If you are not one of privilege or power, you have no rights and freedoms. Those rights and freedoms can be taken away just like that. You could lose your right to speech. You could be arrested under false charges. All these different things, because that's what control is. That's what our democratic system is. Our democratic system is based on votes. Who gets the most votes? Okay, fine. You can vote. That's great. Our current economic system is our current electoral system. Our current electoral system is 100% capitalist economics, which means that if you do not have the wealth and privilege going in, you cannot run a strong enough campaign to win. So our hope is to find third-party independent candidates that have that wealth and privilege, but also have a conscience. Because if we don't have that, we're just going to have more of the same, which is more death and destruction for the province. And the rich get richer and the poor just die. Speaking of the poor just dying, that brings us to Twitter fails. And Twitter is failing left, right, and center in regards of what the concept is for people like me, for those of the global majority. It is Black History Month. It should be Black History 365. I hope to have some of our members of the Black community on to discuss. Not our members, sorry, the members of the Black community. Wording really matters. The Premier said our. It's our Black History Month. As a white person with white privilege, I'll sure as shit say it's not ours. It's theirs. And I hope that we can collaborate and have them represent their community, represent their point of view on this platform, and discuss why Black history is history. And the crap that's going on in Florida and the crap that's going on around the world in regards of CRT, in regards of the colonizers muting and downgrading and blocking and canceling and deleting and putting people in social media jail for what they say, which this episode could go there. Who knows? We're not going to stop talking truth to power, though. And again, we invite those members in the Black and Indigenous communities to come on to our platform. This is our platform. We want it to be their platform as well, to help amplify that message of land back, that message of unconditional reparations now, that message of end the monarchy. Those are those messages we need to continue to amplify. Those are the messages that need to get to the system. That is a system that we need to rebuild. This current capitalist system, number one, it can't sustain growth that it's happening. You look at society, we'll just look at Alberta. We'll take just a very close picture here in Alberta. My wife works for one of the social programs with youth. Their funding is just decimated because of this government and because of the economic state, because the people of privilege don't fucking care. They care about what makes them popular. The popular thing is what's going to get all the money, and it's not those programs, even though those programs are what keep kids off the street, what keep kids from falling into the addiction because they're struggling with mental health, because they have nothing, they have no support. It's those programs that save these kids. And if we're not supporting those programs, you're basically leaving the kids to die. Just like you're doing with taking no precautions for COVID. Apologize, went on a little rant there. Back to the Twitter fails. So how the Twitter is failing on those individuals from the global majority. Those individuals, their messages are being muted. Those messages they're being shut down. They're being deplatformed. They're all these different things. And these privileged pieces of shit are being platformed because they speak for the establishment. They speak for capitalism. If you speak for capitalism, you continue to be uplifted. You speak against capitalism, it goes down until they have you fully muted or canceled. But while they're doing these sort of things of muting and stopping messages from different independent media outlets, different people that had influence that don't have the influence now because they were speaking truth and because they were speaking out against the establishment, you get pieces of shit who are allowed to do disgusting, despicable things on Twitter. And then when you report them, so before, if someone was reported for doing hate speech or for doing those things, they were at least investigated and their account was suspended for a time. Well, in Elon Musk's Twitter, and the Twitter fails based on people like us having collaborative conversations. We can't have those anymore. We don't see what we want to see on the platform unless you pay for it. And hey, Elon, fuck you. You're never getting a dime from me, you worthless bag of shit. Anyway, one of those motherfuckers that has paid for the platform goes by the name of Mark Thomas I.W. And even though he doesn't have the funky bunch with him, old MT here is a disgusting piece of garbage. He's got his whole thing about the vaccine killed one of his family members. And all the platform is based on the right-wing lunacy and anti-socialism. And everything coming from the right. Oh, look. We've got another one of these patriot morons. So old Mark is a piece of crap. Called out our friend Haroon, who was speaking out on the free speech, speaking on behalf of free speech that was taken away basically by the Trojan horse of. And then once he put out these disgusting things, calling out Haroon with his hate speech, and Haroon thankfully screenshot these things. Time to put criminals like Haroon in prison again and show him and his terrorist group the Alberta train station, which if you watch any of these programs, that is the basically talking about hanging and lynching Haroon. Time to put our hats and boots and head to the U of Alberta and find him, educate him on what happens when you fuck around Alberta and you find out. Time for you and your friends without authorization to be in Canada to leave. Leave Alberta. You will not like how this ends for you. Can't collect enough dumb kids with mummy issues to stop Alberta ranchers from removing you. Then he added them to a list, locate and identify. So, with all this horseshit going on, we do what Twitter has told us before to report these behaviors. Well, after reviewing the reports on these tweets, Twitter deemed he hasn't broken our safety policies. You can block the account, which means they won't be able to follow you, see your tweets, or message you. Reports like this inform our policies, and we're always reviewing them. Here's a summary of what isn't allowed on Twitter. Threatening violence against someone or a group of people. So I have to say, Twitter and Elon, that the threat to take someone to the train station is a threat of violence against someone or a group of people. Celebrating, praising violence, harassing someone, encouraging people to harass someone. That would be putting on our boots and go to the U of A to hunt someone down. Wishing harm on someone. That would be putting the boots, and if they don't leave Canada, they're not going to like what happens. Promoting violence, threatening, or harassing people because of their identity, like race or gender. Well, guess what? Haroon is a member of our global majority. He's not a white privileged piece of shit like old MT. So he's called out for his identity. So if we think we made this mistake, you can report him again. Thanks, Twitter. Thanks for nothing, Twitter, you worthless bags of shit. You already know how I feel about Musk. Musk is a piece of shit. MT's a piece of shit. But here's the thing. Like we said, we're going to go into the Twitter fail. So here's a Twitter fail. You go in and talk about how this isn't threatening. This isn't doing any of these sort of things. Well, let's go into the list. And sure as shit will be on this list after this piece of shit sees this stream, if he sees this piece of shit or sees the stream. So you got Julius Ponzi. You got Dash Dabrowski. COVID 1984. Nate the lawyer. At the Jess Huffman. Richard Peterson. Teachers Unite. Aaron Rupar. Aaron Hoyland. Dr. Nahid Dasani. Jessica Vanderveen. Gil McCowan. Davis Favaro. CTV Edmonton. And Dave Cornoyer. Can't speak French. Good thing my daughter takes French and not me. So there's the list. And the list is locate and identify. I don't know about you, but I sure as shit see that as a threat. I won't even get into the fact that our friend Haroon contacted the Edmonton police and they said nothing. They did nothing. Oh, until it's a real threat. I find it very interesting that the police don't find that a threat. But when our friend Taylor McNally calls out the Calgary Police Service for being the ignorant, bigoted, racist pieces of shit that they are, that protect murderers, she's flagged for abuse. She's censored for speaking out and speaking the truth because she spoke the truth. For others that spoke the truth against the police forces. Duncan Kinney is another example. You are targeted. I'm targeted. Elections Alberta, the so-called independent organization in charge of the electoral system in this province, put me under investigation. Falsely accused me of being a unauthorized third-party political advertiser. I applied to become a electoral advertiser and no response. I provided every document, every monetary value that was made during the time of me being that political third-party advertiser. Crickets. Some piece of shit who has Take Back Alberta and all this right-wing religious freedom fighting fuck waffle messaging and hate speech gets to do ads during the Battle of Alberta on Rogers Sportsnet. They have no documents claiming their monetary value. They have no documents showing transparency on where the money is or what they've spent or what they brought in. But they're allowed to do what they do because they are privileged. And they speak on behalf of the useless Conservative Party of Alberta. It sure is shit, UCP, but it's useless Conservative Party. Whew. I want to take a moment before we shut her down to acknowledge our friend, the passing of our friend, known in the WWE when it was the WWF, brother of the Macho Man Randy Savage, Leaping Lanny Poffo, who passed away over the last few days. Lanny, thank you very much for all the support you've given to the wrestling community at large. Thank you for personally sending birthday wishes to me every year that we've been connected on social media. It made my day having you take the time out of your day to send me a message from your brother utilizing the cream of the crop and having recognition of you and Randy on my birthday. It meant everything to me. Thank you, Lanny. Godspeed, my friend. I hope you, Randy, your mom and dad are having a blast up there. I just imagine you think WrestleMania is big? Imagine what's happening upstairs when you have the cream of the crop, all these amazing athletes, all these amazing pro wrestlers that we've lost up there, putting on a show for the man upstairs and everyone up there. Imagine the card you could build with those great performers, including our heart goes out to the Pugh family. If you didn't follow it or you haven't seen it, I mean, you're under a rock. Man known as Jay Briscoe, Jamin Pugh, lost his life tragically in a car accident that had his daughters in it. They were, he was taking them to cheerleading practice. It pains me to see such good people that entertained, to put everything, gave up time with their family to entertain us, entertain the wrestling fans, entertain the sports entertainment fans. It pains me to see the loss of these people, especially the people younger. I know Lanny lived a pretty long life. I mean, not that long. I mean, it's the 60s. But it's hard. As someone who grew up in the wrestling industry, being friends with the local promoter for Stampede Wrestling, and we can go into talking truth about Stampede Wrestling at one of the episodes. Love to have you guys on to discuss any of the former Stampede wrestlers. We might have them on as well. Discuss the time, discuss the territories, all these different things. They entertained me. That was my escape. My escape from abuse, escape from a toxic lifestyle, toxic life, being raised. It was my escape. Wrestling was my escape. Sports was my escape. It's still my escape. I have to turn my brain off now when I watch it, because the fact that I know how much money these things cost and how much money people are paying to see this stuff live and those sort of things. And it really pains me that the exploitation of labor and those aspects. But sure as shit, if I can turn my brain off and watch that, I'm entertained. I'm entertained by Jay Briscoe. I was entertained for years by Leaping Lanny. He might have been known as a jobber and as an enhancement talent, but man, he was entertaining. And the more work he did after the loss of Randy and the connection we had on social media, and what he did for the Cauliflower Alley Club, what he did for the wrestling industry, it was amazing. And he didn't have to do any of that. And he will be missed. And our thoughts and prayers go to his partner and the family. Follow us, youtube.com at ADC Talking Truth. on Odyssey. Make sure to like and subscribe, share this across the different platforms. We're at ADC Truth on TikTok. We're at AB Poli and at ADC on Mastodon. And we're on Facebook. And we will be launching the AB Poli Substack post haste. Like we said, by the end of the month, abpoli.ca and abpoli.info will be launched, and we welcome collaboration for all as we want to ensure the education and information is provided to our fellow citizens of Alberta, because we can't just sit here and do nothing. We have to take a stand. We have to continue talking truth. We have to continue speaking truth to power. And we have to continue standing up for our fellow citizen. We'll see you next week.